Hey guys, John here. So I've been promising a room tour for quite a while, and now that I've got Patreon back up and working, I thought for those of you, the small amount so far, who are Patreon supporters, you're going to get the room tour right now. And yeah, so let's go take a look. We'll see what's in this toy room here. So we're actually going to start the tour not actually inside the toy room. We're going to start it in the overhang for the kitchen. This is the walkway into the condo, and as you walk in, you go past a bunch of Star Trek guys, and then turn the corner into the dining room, and this wall is full of other people I've met. All three guys from Karate Kid, Nick Frost, Vernon Wells, the guy who played Godzilla, the guy who played the monster in the swamp, creature in the Black Lagoon. Yeah, all these guys. Ooh, yeah, he was cool. Dwight Schultz was cool. Roddy Piper was awesome. Roddy Piper was on the podcast. Apollo, the guy from Battlestar Galactica, he was on the podcast. All these Star Trek. I'm trying to get them so you can see it without the glare. There's so much glare from all the windows in here. None of the Star Trek guys have been on the podcast. I got all them before I did the podcast. Same with Battlestar or Babylon 5. I met all these guys long before I was doing the podcast, so none of them are on there. Ashley's been on the podcast a couple times. Got a couple autographs of her, 3 or 4 autographs of her. Sam Witwer is Darth Maul. James Arnold Taylor, Matthew Wood, Frank Oz. The girl who played Shock T, and then Amy Allen, the Twi'lek one. Yeah. Kenny Baker, he was the first person I ever met. Really nice guy. And then C-3PO, Anthony Daniels, Peter Mayhew, Tim Rose, I think, Hugh Spite, Daniel Larson, and Ray Park as Darth Maul. All these Voltron guys have been on the podcast. Batman, Wonder Woman, Susan Eisenberg, and Wonder Woman from the Super Friends. Big Bird, Kermit, James David Frank, he's been on the podcast a couple times. He's really cool. The Green Ranger. Yeah, he's a really good guy. He's awesome to talk to and hang out with. So is Daniel from the guy who played Boba Fett. He sat down with me for a half hour, had a drink with me. It was really cool. He's awesome. Really good guy. Lou Ferrigno, he's been on the podcast. John Wesley Shipp as the Flash, he's been on the podcast. Really cool guy. Robbie Amell, man, he was awesome. He stayed on the podcast for a while. He was really cool. Nolan North's been on the podcast. Really cool guy, too. He was only a short one, though. I love my video games, board games, too, like old ones. I like the retro board games. So I got all these old board games. Especially if they have things you can do, like the Pac-Man are like 3D, and they couple marbles as you go around the board. The E.T. has a ship in the middle. The King Kong has a giant skyscraper that he climbs up. So there's the really cool ones. I got my comics in these cabinets, and there's more cabinets over there where the pictures were hanging. I've probably got over 100,000 comic books, 40 or 50 boxes full. I got everything. I got all my cells here, like Lord of the Rings, Star Trek. Some of them are hanging up here, Star Wars stuff. Got a Star Wars print from Ryza. Ryka, R-Y-C-A. He's really cool. Artist that works down in Miami. My weapons that I made, and then weapons that I bought. And lightsaber in the middle is the one I made at Disney Galaxy's Edge. Yoda's is thrown in the corner. I gotta get another one of these saber stands to put him up on the wall. A couple oversized ships that can't fit in the toy room anywhere because they're so gigantic. And then I got these helmets down here. Yeah, Pose. I got an original Pac-Man game, handheld. My PlayStation, and the Darth Vader one, which you can barely see because it's really dark, and it's a black helmet, so you can't see it. Too bad. Some of my artwork, paintings, and photography on the wall here. This was in a gallery, actually 2 different gallery shows in Seattle, and I really liked the what people had to say about it, because they were trying to guess which hands belong to which toys, you know, which characters. So that was really cool, listening to people talk about it and go through their childhood reminiscing as a result of this photo collage kind of thing. And then just before you get into the toy room in the hallway, there's 2 racks where I have my DVD cartoon collection and my TV show stuff too, and then my video games. I got the big Transformer DVD box set with all that's the Autobot Matrix of Leadership. It pulls apart, and now it's not going back together and getting on the shelf. There we go, we put it back on the shelf. Magic of cinema. But all my various Transformers, He-Man, Black Star, Thundercats, Silverhawks, everything. This is Voltron over here. Let's see, we can see it. They're metal tins of Voltron. You got Dungeons and Dragons, Zelda, Smurfs, Gummy Bears, Gargoyles, Hong Kong Phooey, Godzilla, Exo Squad, Centurions and Humanoids, Masks, Conan, Thundarb, Herculoids, Plastic Man, the Tick, Turtles, some anime stuff. Oh, Witch Hunter Robin is awesome. If you haven't seen that, check it out. Read or Die is really good. Samurai 7. That's the original, like, Hulk movies from the TV show, the old Captain America that was terrible. Horrible costumes and everything. It's really bad, but it's cool. Gultar, Spider-Man, Batman, Avengers, X-Men, all the full series of all these things. Super Friends, all the Superman stuff. Land of the Lost, Buck Rogers. We got Venture Brothers. We got Aqua Teen Hunger Force. A couple movies I kept, you know, the Harry Potter stuff, Alien, Star Wars. Oh my gosh, these Star Wars ones from Japan and China and stuff. Wait till you see these. This is Star Wars. Look at the description on this. This is why I own this, okay? The story described the second princess of insurrection of a far-away and intergalactic empire occurrence 2 under 2 robots, the R2-D2 C-3PO, and Days the Time, the Road Gra with Ho Solo. Ho Solo, he's great. I liked Ho Solo. He was a really good character. But yeah, if you want to pause that and read the rest of it, go ahead. It's just hilarious. I should do a video just those foreign versions. Star Treks and everything, my Harry Potter collection, a bunch of books I have. All my Dragonlance books and everything are here. The entire Dragonlance saga. All these old cool books from, you know, back in the day. Novels. My video game wall. I got some G.I. Joe. I got the whole, that's the whole weapons locker with all of it. Robotech, the whole thing. All these other video games. I study ancient cultures, so I got the Egyptian hieroglyphic stuff. NES games, Nintendo. I love Nintendo and Atari 2600, so I've got so many games of these. And if I see them at a reasonable price, meaning less than $10, I will buy them in mass. I will just buy. So, yeah. Some boxed Atari games, River Raid, this one's Missile Command. Only 3 survived in their boxes, so. Well, 2 of these I bought when I worked at Half Price Books when I was still there. They came in and I had to have them. I think it was there that I bought 2 of these. A lot of the games came from Half Price Books also. when I worked there. Mountain King, Stampede, Sequest. Sequest is good. Wizard and Warriors, you know that stuff. Star Voyager, Demon Attack. That was a really good game. Demon Attack is awesome. Spider-Man Frogger, Cubert. The labels fall off of these style games all the time. I can probably re-glue them on. Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars Jedi Arena, G.I. Joe, Donkey Kong, Zaxxon, Mousetrap was awesome, Pitfall 2, Wrecking Crew, we got 3D World Runner, Marble Madness, Clash at Demon Head, that's a good one. Video Pinball, E.T., Raiders, E.T., the famous one, Dig Dug, Vanguard, Space Invaders, Miss Pac-Man, Superman. Got all the different versions of Superman. Centipede, Pole Position, Berserk, Demons to Diamonds, or is it Diamonds to Demons? I don't know, Demons to Diamonds, whatever. Baseball and Super Sprint Car Racing, Super Mario, Pac-Man for the NES, Adventure Island. Like I said, sometimes I get duplicates because I just forget that I have them. A whole bag full of like instruction manuals that go with the ones that are not still in boxes. And then I have all these still in boxes from when I was a kid. I did not throw away Nintendo boxes or Super Nintendo boxes when I was a kid, so I kept everything that I had. But unfortunately, at some point I did sell like 50 or 60 games that were boxed when I was just like 16, 17. It was around when I was doing my car and we were getting into like music and buying other things for a brief moment before we opened our toy and video game selling business. And I shouldn't have sold all those games. I remember my mom actually saying to me, "Are you sure you want to sell all these games?" And I went, "Yeah, I need the money." And then like a year, it was not even a year later that I totally regretted it, and she was right. She knew I would regret it, and she was right. Lesson learned. Because I'd have about 50 more Nintendo games in the boxes if I didn't do that. Got my Sega Master System, Sega Genesis. We went through the Super NES. Zaxxon 3D is awesome. The 3D glasses and stuff work really cool for this. Although they do give you a headache if you play for more than about an hour. You get a really bad headache. It's terrible. They did not design it well, I guess. Oh yeah, I didn't even show you these. These are Bible adventure games. So for the actual Bible adventures, I have the blue and the black version. And then I have the spiritual game, which is like Ghosts and Goblins redone with a little spiritual guy. And then we have Joshua. And we have King of Kings. Those are non-sanctioned. They're not sanctioned by Nintendo, but they do work in the NES, and they are games designed to teach you about the Bible. And as you can see, like, that's why Japan said no, and they weren't going to let them be released to American public, but the Bible people did it anyways, and they came into half-price books, and I had to have them because they're so weird. And those were 8mm Spider-Man and Star Wars. They're black and white 8mm things with no audio. If you want to see them, I did record both of them and put them on the Super Awesome Geek Show YouTube channel. So they are up there if you want to watch them. And we're entering the room here. We got my poster. We had a few figures tacked up on the wall there. Those are just tacked up there temporarily, because that whole thing's going to change. In this little corner is my Babylon 5 action figure corner. 2 of them are signed by J. Michael Straczynski. John Sheridan and Jakar are signed by J. Michael Straczynski. And then we have the lighting system up there that I want to put into some of these other areas. You'll see why when we're going through the room. So that has to be done. I got my pop display stuff here. These go back like 2 or 3 back. There's still room in some of them are only 1 or 2 back. So I got room to collect more, but if this ever gets totally full, 3 back on every shelf, then that's where I stop collecting Pop. So I've allocated this to the Pop characters, and when this is full, I'm done. Because it can be quite horrible. Or I'll sell some and then make room for more, but my G.I. Joes are just lying on the floor there, the 12-inch. I gotta put them somewhere still. I've got stuff just lying around all over the place here. That's what you're going to find on this room tour, which is why it's taken me so long to do it, because I've just got stuff lying everywhere that I haven't finished yet, and I don't enjoy showing off things that are not finished. I like it to be perfect and pristine, but I know a lot of you guys want to see the collection and see where it stands now, so we're doing it now, and then we'll do a finished one a year or so from now when I finally get everything done and put in its correct spots. G.I. Joe here, we got some vehicles down there. We got the Dreadnoughts fighting the Joes, and now we've got the Cobra leadership kind of guys here, and scrap iron, and we got 3 Hiss tanks, some troopers in the back, and eel guys that are not complete in the back. Copperhead needs his boat. I gotta get a boat. And Wild Weasel needs the jet. I gotta get a Rattler. I need a different Serpentor. That one's really beat up and bad, but the cape's not bad. So I gotta get a better Serpentor, put that cape on him, and get the chariot, and then he'll be out more prominently. The modern figures are back there with a statue of Storm Shadow, and then we got snow guys with a modern Hiss tank and modern driver and thing back there. The Snow Wolf, the Cobra Wolf, with its ski missiles and everything. 3 troopers. There's some the modern guys there, and I don't have a spot to put the Dragonfly, so it's just shoved in the back there. So is Deep Six. I don't have his shark yet. I gotta get a shark. And then the massive pile of Joes with their treaded tank vehicles and a modern Vamp with a modern clutch. Modern Joes standing in the back there. The communication guys all hanging out, and Sergeant Slaughter's in the tank. Footloose is just laying there on the ground relaxing. Bazooka and Alpine hanging out here. Lowlight. We got CoverGirl and the Wolverine tank. And yeah, my Wolverine still has that little rope there, right there. See the little rope thing? Still there. That's the Wolverine and CoverGirl I've had since I was a little kid, and I still have them in great shape. Tunnel Rat. Hard to find those little flashlights. I need those flashlights for his backpack. This Mobat tank is not my... Actually, it is my original. It's got the paint on the bottom. That's right. And then Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes, believe it or not, I bought in a pile of parts and put him back together with a new O-ring. And I don't think the guy realized he was in that pile of parts, because when I showed it on Twitter and thanked him for the pile of parts, he was like, "What the hell? He was in there?" And what I paid for the pile of parts was equivalent to just the Snake Eyes, and I got like half these figures you've seen came from that pile of parts. I put them all back together with new O-rings. We got the Geonosian battle here from the arena battle where the drop ships dropping them off. We got Jango Fett and Dooku back there with why can't I ever remember his name when I'm on camera? The leader of the bug guys, leader of the Geonosians. We got Shaak Ti, Quinlan Voss, Asherad Het, Anakin and Obi-Wan, Kit Fisto, Plo Koon, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Nadar Veb is in there. Aya Sakura is back there. We got Luminari and Barriss in there somewhere. All these droids and Geonosian soldiers. Mace is ready to jump off with a couple more guys. We got pilots and we got gunners. We got everything on this thing. This is a pretty chock load full of figures and stuff. I wish I could do that more justice and put it in a better spot, but I just don't have the placement for it right now. But I slowly take over the living room more. That's where some of these things will go in a big, nice diorama. We've got some box stuff back there. The old Snowspeeder prototype thing in the box from the 90s. A couple Black Series limited guys from Battlefront and Battlefront 2. We have my Fisher-Price action or adventure people. The Alpha Probe and the Alpha Star with some guys. We got this thing going over the TV. Yes, there's a TV in this room and a couch, so I can watch movies and TV shows in private if I need to, because, you know, living with other people, sometimes you got to get away from them. You can't watch everything in the living room, especially if they want to watch something else and you're like, no, I want to watch this. So whoever loses can come in here and watch. So that's the other thing. This tiny little room also doubles as a place to watch movies. So, for now. Rebel Transport with figures. The Millennium Falcon with figures. The TIE Fighter displays. Rogue One with the tank also. The Kylo Ren TIE Fighter with Snoke just sitting up there like, hey guys, I'm up here sitting. A couple stormtroopers fell over, it looks like. Yeah, we got these couple. I only have like those 2 Hot Wheels just because I like them. All the vintage figures lined up in front of the TIE Interceptor with Vader, Tarkin, and the Emperor walking through. But yeah, we got lines, rows and rows. There's like 4 AT-AT commanders, 6 Death Squad guys, 6 of the Imperial leaders, 4 biker scouts, 4 royal guards, and 10 stormtroopers. We got Thrawn there. Gumby's hanging out because Gumby was there. He was in the scene, you just didn't see him. He's kind of off to the side. But if you watch Return of the Jedi or any of those where they see the parade, you'll see Gumby in there. I guarantee it. More TIE Fighter display stuff. We got the vintage blue and white here with some figures by them. And I don't know, I have too many TIE Fighters to fit in the room, so I had to do this. I got the Bomber and Vaders. The Bomber is hanging from fishing line. These guys were interrupted in their meeting by the lead singer of Kiss, Gene Simmons there. Holocrons are hanging out way back there behind the Inquisitor TIE Fighter with the Inquisitor. He's like, hey, I'm the Inquisitor. And we got the sequel trilogy TIE Fighter with some figures out front. Pilots, Snoke, Kylo, red dudes, stormtroopers. Pretty cool. They're all just like, yeah, we're here, hanging out. I got all my crystals, including the red, black, the white, purple, blue, green, yellow. So then this is where I work on videos on that little tiny table. I clean it off and do a quick video, and then we're in this corner. I've turned the light off so that hopefully we can see, but we got glare from other sides. I don't know. Primal Clash is down here. Primal Clash is something that was Walmart only, and it just kind of hit me as kind of cool. And we got The Rock hanging out with them, some Jurassic Park guys mixed in here too. And but these Primal Clash guys are kind of like the Dino Riders, sort of brought back to modern times with 3.75-inch figures. It's just a cool idea. Dinosaurs with guys with like guns and axes and swords. Ewoks here, the little Robo guy. I called him Max Rebo when I was a kid, and I got him in like 76, 77, somewhere there. It was one of my very first action figures. And then I was shocked when Return of the Jedi came out and they named it the Max Rebo Band. I was like, they stole my name. My robot guy's named Max Rebo. How did they do that? How did they know? It just freaked me out when I was a kid. So modern and vintage collection ATSTs here, and a bunch of figures from all over. My Warwick and Ramba need their hats, so if anyone's got hats, you know, let me know. Mask good guys. Got the box for the Bullet. I love the Gator with Dusty Hayes. Dusty. And the T-Bob. It's cool. The Rhino. The 3 guys. Copter. That was my very first mask toy, that Copter. And that is the one. That's still the one I had. Both versions of Matt Tracker, the original release and the second release with the Thunderhawk. Return of the Jedi Vintage Collection skiff here. And we got Olgra and Hup sitting down there. We got an alien skull in the sand. Some other random monster guys down there. That red dog's the Sarlacc pit. We'll pretend he's the Sarlacc. Some vintage figures in the Vintage Collection skiff. Got some droids just randomly hanging out here. A new droid that I bought. A new Max Rebo droid. Look at that. I bought him just recently. And we got Darth Vader the Emperor, a Royal Guard with him. Modern Tarkin. And the Flash. The Flash went bad and he's hanging out with the Dark Side guys. Darth Vader shelves, we got that was the pop, and we had some figures down there, still in the boxes and stuff. And then we got a bunch of different loose figures, various ones. The 12-inch Kenner Darth Vader, some Darth Vader carded guys, some Kenner guys. Darth Vader and Ahsoka signed by Ashley Eckstein. More 12-inch Vaders, more 3.75-inch various Vaders. Obi-Wan is dead there. We got the hyper real Vader. We got this coin. Another Kenner one, the glass. 500th figure, cards, stuff like that. A whole bunch more Darth Vader cases, all full of Kenner figures. We got the 12-inch, the Space Case 24, the Space Case 12, and we've got the Star Wars case. Star Wars one has some G.I. Joe and Mask guys in it. The other Space Case ones have G.I. Joes and Star Wars, and the Darth Vader ones all have Star Wars in them. And they're all pretty full of extra figures now. I got to get more cases because I've got an extra, like a drawer in the dresser that's just full of loose figures. So I've got a dresser drawer full. So I've got to get more cases and put them all in those cases. We got stuff up on top of the cabinets here. 12-inch Troopers, 12-inch Jedi and Sith, 12-inch Wampa and Luke. We've got the boxed Snowspeeder that you saw there. Some video game type figures. That little dude from the sock puppet guy, whatever it is from that video game. Little Big Planet, right? Big Little Planet, Little Big Planet. Yeah, Gorn was just hanging out there on the corner, sitting there. Dumbledore likes hanging out with stormtroopers, so he is. Comparison of the Leia Bausch is up there, just because I didn't know where else. Sometimes I just set things down because I'm like, well, it's gonna go in here later, so I set it down. That's what happened there. So I gotta put my hand over the light or something to get rid of the glare, and then I kill Luke. But we got Luke comparisons up here, modern to original. We got the Stormtrooper Anakin. We got Jedi Luke, modern and vintage, to do comparisons with. A modern Sand Person. Obi-Wan back there. The vintage like land of the Jawas, they say. So we got Luke there. No, don't hurt me. And 3PO's arm fell off, and all these sand people are attacking him. And the Jawa's like, when they're not looking, I'm going to take this droid. And then we have comparisons for Greedo and Walrus Man up here, modern to vintage. I don't have a modern that I like of Hammerhead or Snaggletooth, but we got the blue Snaggletooth up there. He was like $4 in a pile of figures when back in like early 90s. I was working at a comic store in Parrington Square Mall, and they had a thing where everyone had stuff in the middle of the mall, and he was in a box full of figures, and I I talked the guy down to around $3 to $4 per figure and bought the whole box, every single figure. And that blue Snaggletooth was in there. And he even pointed him out, so he knew he had him. But back then, no one thought he was as rare as he really is. And then you saw the 12 figures in modern and vintage comparisons there. Small head Han was in that pile. And then we have my Return of the Jedi guys standing around the B-Wing. And I need Luke's poncho. I need a Luke poncho. I'm turning on the lights because I think that's going to help with the glare. I don't know. But there's lots of General Madines and Admiral Akbars and Nine Gnomes and B-Wing pilots. Just because I keep getting them in big lots of figures, and I just throw them all back there just to put them somewhere. Because like I said, the cases are pretty full. I don't have room to put them away. My last remaining Dengar with no paint on the backpack, and that's a variant IG-88 back there. And we have some R5-D4 comparison, Admiral Akbar comparison, Prune Face comparison, and then the gang here with their weapons and stuff. I need a couple more Chewie guns because he's not always full up on those. I don't have them all. And then we got like smiling and non-smiling Landos. And we got 1 million Cloud Car pilots and Bespin security guards. And I actually have both colored weapons, the blue and the gray, for the Cloud Car dude. So there, me. And then, so a lot of Empire Strikes Back type guys, Lobot comparisons, modern to vintage. And we got the Ugnaught comparison, modern to vintage. And I got all the different smocks for the Ugnaught, the smock colors. And a bunch more Ugnaughts and pilots back there with another Death Star droid. So my Y-Wing, my Cloud Car. Now we're into the Mos Eisley with Tatooine stuff. I really like the Cantina in this whole setup. Luke and Obi-Wan with 3PO and R2 on the land speeder. We got some guys from overseas. They came from England and they're hanging out back there. Unkar Plot's here too. The Memphis Nest rode in. We got some guy from Clash of the Titans back there. A bunch of Jawas through the years. Jawas. Stormtroopers are hanging out. 2 R5-D4s bumped into each other and they're like, what's going on? We got Walrus Man, threatening Chewbacca here. We got a Duros. We got Hammerhead. Han and Greedo fending it off with a lizard woman hanging out. We got Worf joining those bounty hunter, those smuggler dudes. Sulu and Spock are here like, where are we? These are the Build-A-Droids stuff, so I had to build some from Disney parks. I had to build a black Death Star droid, Going into Jabba's palace. Vintage and modern mix here. Jabba, the guards. This is like when Bausch was selling Chewie. That's what this scene is depicting. I know R2 wasn't standing there during this scene, but I had to put him somewhere. Pop-up saber, R2. 3PO, we got Boba Fett back there. Bunch of Gamorrean guards. Ula the dancing girl. Couple squid heads, Barada. Guys standing up there. Got lots and lots of duplicates of all these Jabba guys. Han Carbonite's just kind of hanging out back there. He was. We got the Bomar Monk. We got comparisons of Klaatu and the Rancor Keeper. The Rancor's so cool. I love the Rancor. The Hoth scene. My original Wampa's in the corner. He's pretty yellow, so I got the more prominent white one sitting out there, which Chris Perillo gave to me right before I left Seattle to move to Florida. So nice of Chris. I still love having a nice pristine white Wampa. I only have one snowtrooper with the cape, so he's kind of standing out front there. Got 10 or 12 others that are just kind of hanging out in the area there. Luke, Leia, Han, 3PO, R2 with the pop-up saber. We got another couple more 2-1Bs and a FX7 Probot and turret playset. Bunch of mini rigs throughout here. The AT-AT. This AT-AT is mine from about 89, 90, somewhere in 91, somewhere in that range. Snow Speeder has been mine since I was a kid. And then the cabinet next to them is Transformers. We're getting into all this massive Transformers. So you can see part of the couch there. The Stargate box is down there. We got, so modern, Ultra Magnus, Optimus Prime, Ratchet, Ironhide, Hound, all the mini bots with Bumblebee and Sea Spray in them, Beachcomber, Mirage, Sideswipe, Cliff Jumper, Prowl. Then we go into the jets. We got Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp in here. A whole bunch of various Starscreams mostly. That's my original Starscream, the same exact one I've had since I was a kid. I'm amazed I never lost any of the pieces for him. And Skywarp, my brother's favorite from when we were kids, but he no longer holds on to toys or collects them, so he's in my collection now. And all that's cool stuff. And then we got my Masterpiece collection. I pretty much like the Autobots. I don't know why. So I don't have any Masterpiece Decepticons. I should have a Masterpiece Soundwave, though. You'll see in a minute why. And I should have one for Starscream because of all those Starscreams. But other than that, I don't think I'd get too many. I always liked the cars, the Autobot vehicles, Except for Kremzeek. I have Kremzeek in there. And I want to get a Hound. I need a Hound because he was one of my favorite vehicles. But I just don't have him yet. I wait till I find them for good prices. That's the thing. Or I trade, Let's see. A couple Optimus Primes. We got a Jetfire Modern. We got some modern Hoist, Grapple. Some different figures of the Earthrise stuff. We got a vintage Jetfire here. Skyfire, Jetfire, whatever you call them. And a more modern Skyfire, Jetfire back there. I really like having this vintage one. Thanks to Brian at Phil's Comics for that one. Pretty cool guy there, and great comic shop. And now in here is the Decepticons, Megatron with Shockwave, and Galvatron with Cyclonus. The Sweeps, Mirage as a Decepticon, and we have Sharkticons down here, and Insecticons. I like Sharkticons, so I got a couple of them. Insecticons modern and vintage. And then we have the triple changers. That's Astro Train, and we had Blitzwing before there. This is my Soundwave shelf, which is why I should have a Soundwave Masterpiece, but I don't. Looks like Ravage, the Masterworks Ravage fell over. That's a Masterworks Soundwave in radio mode, and this is my original Soundwave when I was a kid with 2 cassettes, and that's the original box. If we move him a little bit, you'll see that he was originally $14.88 back in the day. The movie or video game version, the animated version, the giant version that came out a little while ago, and the new War for Cybertron Siege version. Yeah. Good stuff. Ravage and Rumble. Good stuff. Alright. So now we have a vintage shelf of Autobots. Again, I have more vintage Autobots than I do Decepticons. That's just how it always works for me. I just seem to gravitate towards the Autobots. Other than Starscream and Soundwave. I like the Jets, and I like Soundwave and his companions. And I love Shockwave, but I just don't have an original Shockwave, a vintage one anymore. I did when I was a kid, but I don't anymore. So yeah, Optimus, we got Blaster, we got my original Omega Supreme, which I love. Omega Supreme, he is so awesome. I really like that character, he's so cool. UFO, the Cosmos was always cool. Yeah. Hound is one of my favorites. He was because he was my first Transformer I ever got, and I need the weapons for Hound because every time I try to find his weapons, they are like $40-50. It's crazy how expensive they are. And then I love Smokescreen because he was the first car I got. So Hound and Smokescreen are my two favorite Transformers because I have such great memories with them, playing with them, getting them. It just changed my life getting Transformers. Like it blew my mind. I thought there was no way you could have a car turn into a toy robot, and like that was just like, what? So yeah, I have a lot of Smokescreens. You saw there was a Masterpiece. There's that one there, from the new Siege stuff. That was Hasbro Selects, actually. So we got all these DC figures up on top, hanging on the wall. Eventually, that's what's going to happen. The whole perimeter here, where you see blank wall near the ceiling, there's going to be Marvel and DC figures hung up all the way around. Because I've got a lot of them in boxes. Maybe Star Trek figures, too. So I'm going to fill in all the blank spaces behind stuff with carded figures that I just hang on the wall there. And we got stuff. So that's all my DC stuff. I don't have a lot of DC figures because I just want one example of my main characters, and that's all I need. I'm not a giant DC fan. I'm more of a Super Friends fan than say like a DC comic book fan. So that's why I have the Super Friends versions of those. We're getting it. We went past Star Trek, and now we're getting into my Boba Fett sort of homage to Boba Fett area. That was the animated holiday special Boba Fett. We got the is it the 300th figure Boba Fett? The white prototype, the Disney Elite, and some Kenner ones, and the modern retro collection one standing next to him. And this little cabinet thing here, I'm going to move it over, and then I can fit another one in. I've blocked the window in this room with a curtain, and I am now going to use that space like that. And I hung that up, but then I was like, wait a minute, I need to move it over and hang it up and get another one because it'll fit. I've got cards up here, a box for the original Star Wars cards. The Empire Strikes Back ones still have cards in those little boxes. There's a Rogue One set mission briefing and an unopened pack of Return of the Jedi. Then we got Memphis Nest Black Series up there with her speeder. We've got, Karate Kid hanging out with the Power Rangers. Just need the Blue Ranger and I'll have all those. And I need a couple more villains as they come out, and then I'll be done collecting Power Ranger Lightning Collection because that's all I want are those first series guys. I never got into Zeo or Neo or whatever else. Guardians of the Galaxy, we had some villains there from 6-inch. We've got Fantastic Four 6-inch stuff with Red Skull and Doctor Doom. And we've got a Skrull in there. Spider-Man 6-inch figures, a bunch of villains with Spider-Man eating some pizza. He's all like, I like my pizza. And yeah, Doc Ock is really cool. And we got the X-Men. And we got the Avengers. I got an Incredible Hulk that'll go in there on the right in that gap that's back there. We got some other guys that I like from Marvel. See, I'm a Marvel guy. I'm more of a Marvel guy than DC, you can tell. And the villains from X-Men with Deadpool kind of hanging out in there because he's got to go somewhere. And there's the Archangels back there, but you can barely see him. And now we got the top shelf of all these this whole wall of shelves have this top area with giant guys on it, big things. And my new Omega Supreme from the War for Cybertron, Siege, Earthrise, that stuff. The Megazord and the Dragonzord originals with their boxes up there. I had the entire collection of Power Rangers when they first came out. I had actually 2 sets. Wolverine and Hulk. This Hulk is the one that's going to go with those Avengers guys on that shelf. So when I open that, I just got to open it eventually and do a video on it, and then I'll put them in there. But yeah, I ended up selling all of the Power Ranger stuff a couple years back, and right before I moved from Seattle to Florida, so about 4 years ago probably. And I kept those 2 because I knew I would want the Dragonzord and Megazord forever, and I'm glad I did. But I kind of wish I kept the triangle box figures, because they're just neat to have, you know? And maybe I'll reacquire them. I don't know. We'll see. But we got Bruticus in 3 different versions: the video game, the modern, and the modern Combiner Wars one, and the original vintage. And we got my original Veritech standing next to the blaster from the video game. Maybe I'll get in closer to some of these smaller guys in a second. Tripticon and Devastator. The original I've had since I was a kid, and the modern gigantic one. And then the boxed set from more recent. So yeah, there's my original Devastator. With again, I kept him complete. I don't know how I didn't lose any pieces, but I was very meticulous with my Transformers. I didn't lose anything. Bruticus here. I love Bruticus. He's so cool. Probably because it's military type tanks and things, and I like G.I. Joe. My original Veritech fighter, and the only guy I have from the that big Voltron, which I want to get. I should be looking for that during this quarantine. Put them together during this quarantine. Yeah, some Wolverines. That 12-inch Wolverine's really cool. And then let's start doing this wall of shelves. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe from Mattel. A really nice Man-at-Arms and Tila there. Ram-Man. Beastman, Whiplash, Skeletor, and Evelyn. Merman. Mossman's in the shark thing. Clawful's there. We got Roboto and Fisto. We got the Rick and Morty with the little thing. All the little guys from He-Man that have come out recently. We got Silverhawks. And we got Son of Zorn hanging on the wall here in a Zorn pop. Those crossover guys from Master Universe and WWE. And then we have Thundercats. Dun, 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 dun. We got some Ghostbusters stuff down here. 6-inch guys. And the Playmobil stuff. I like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It's pretty cool. We got some Aliens things. The vehicle. The power loader still in the box. All the aliens, Space Marines, and some aliens attacking them down there. And we got Inhumanoids, Tendrils still hanging around. And down here we have the Skeleton Warriors, couple open guys, and some packaged ones. Some various pops before I started keeping them in the boxes. Some of those boxes are gone, so they're all just hanging out here. We got some Rick and Morty figures with Bender. And I love the Cthulhu one. I like Slimer. I like having Beef Squatch here from Bob's Burgers. The Mandalorian guys. My body's blocking the light, so I'm going to move a little bit. Yeah, my Mandalorian 6-inch. I put him on a dewback, because why not? And then Snoke's Throne Room with the battle between those two there. G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes. This is going to be the G.I. Joe shelf, so that's reserved. My original 3 3/4 inch Avengers are there with Spider-Man and Doctor Doom and Archangel from the 90s there, late 80s, early 90s. And then Doctor Doom modern and vintage comparisons. Some Hulk stuff I like, Beta Ray Bill, just various characters I thought were cool that I wanted to keep in that form. Dash Rendar's ship with some figures here. Still got Dash in the packaging back there, and Luke in that armor in the packaging. That's this Luke here with this armor. That armor is really cool. That is a really cool Luke. I can't believe more people are not like gung-ho about that Luke, because that's an awesome Luke with that armor. That armor is so cool. He should be a 6-inch figure. We've got some, let's see, that was Solo. Now we've got Rise of Skywalker stuff here. Some guys there, yeah. And then I'm kind of going to be doing these backwards, I guess. So then there's Force Awakens, good guys with some biker scouts hanging out there for Return of the Jedi. But most of the good guys are in this corner. And then we have the sequel trilogy troopers and bad guys, I guess you could say. All the different troopers and some an extra Emperor with the red guys until we get the Emperor with the red from Rise of Skywalker. He's going to be there. Dino Riders. These are really cool. I love Dino Riders. I wish I could have more of them. So Padme and Ahsoka fell down again. They always fall down. Even though they are on a stand, they fall down. I don't get it. Their feet are too small. Yeah, Padme. Here's Ahsoka. And luckily they didn't take out the whole shelf again, because half the time they domino effect. But there's a stand I have them on with foot pegs, and they still fall off and fall down. And if you're not careful, you'll hit Grievous, and then the whole thing goes down, because Grievous can't stand up that well either. Mace and Qui-Gon are over here. We got, Maul and Jango. All these battle droids. We got Cody and Rex and Gree back there with two different Obi-Wans and an Anakin. And then we have Hondo. Hondo's going to have to go somewhere else, because Kit Fisto and Plo Koon are going to show up, and they're going to have to squeeze in there as a Jedi shelf. Maybe we'll put Hondo down here next to the Stormtrooper that's on the dewback. And we got the Probot. This is basically Empire Strikes Back Hoth. So we got the Probot back there. We got all the Hoth guys. Another Chewbacca, another 3PO. We got Obi-Wan as a spirit back there. The Tauntaun and the Wampa hanging out with them. So all the Hoth stuff's there. And then we go down to Bounty Hunters. We got all the Bounty Hunters and the 95 Power of the Force wave hanging there, still in the package. And then we got the 12-inch from Hasbro. And then we got 6-inch Black Series from Hasbro. 3.75-inch modern and vintage comparisons of each character. And then we have, in some cases, we even have the West End and Wizards of the Coast miniatures for the board for the miniature games, and we have Lego versions of the Bounty Hunters. So there are 7 different versions of every single Bounty Hunter, 7 or 8 versions of every Bounty Hunter in that set. Then we got the mostly R2 and 3PO, but a few other droids thrown in here. That's kind of the homage to them. Including one signed by Kenny Baker from the Power of the Force stuff. And a little miniature from the Wizards of the Coast game of R5-D4. Because I also love R5-D4, so I have like an homage to him. All the different versions of R5-D4 packaged and stuff. Except for the original, I don't have a vintage Kenner R5-D4 in the box. So I gotta get that someday. I don't know. Then we have Rebels with Thrawn there. Revan, good and bad Revans. We got the video game characters and other oddball characters on this shelf. Comic book Dr. Aphra with 000 and BT, whatever that other one was, right? 3.75-inch pilots. I love the Twi'lek pilot. I think that's cool. Luke, Wedge, Biggs. We got Porkins. We got Red Leader, Gold Leader, Hutch. We got all those guys in there. 3 Gamorrean guards. We got 6-inch Lando and Leia, Bosch. Luke's waiting for a Vader to fight. We got the Emperor throne room with 4 royal guards and Admiral Piet. It's like a Return of the Jedi shelf. We need more Return of the Jedi figures. I mean, we just do. Empire Strikes Back. We got everybody there with Take Apart 3PO. And we have Empire Strikes Back Snowtroopers with General Veers. And then we go into Star Wars. Like I said, we're going backwards. We should have went the other direction, but whatever. Star Wars, we got Luke with his land speeder. Floppy hat Luke with his land speeder. Gun attached to the side of the land speeder there. Another 3PO with a sand person attacking him. Another Obi-Wan Kenobi. We got Han, Luke, and Leia with Chewie during the escape. A couple Jawas looking on. Couple of Death Squad guys with Tarkin, Vader, and Obi-Wan fighting. Luke back there training. We got Luke and Wedge, X-Wing. We got a Rebel guy. I was only ever to find one of those Rebel guys. I'd like to have 2 or 3 of them, of course. And we got 3.75-inch dark side users and light side users over here. I like the snow versions of Anakin and Obi-Wan from the cartoon, from Clone Wars cartoon. I love Qui-Gon. He looks great. The prototype, or the Macquarie guys are back there, and the old guy looks like Patrick Stewart. It's like Jean-Luc Picard as a Jedi. And then we got the Rogue One characters, but it looks like, I think K2SO has fallen over. Somehow he slipped down and fell over without knocking anybody else down. Yeah, these guys fall over all the time. I've got 5 Death Troopers. I never was able to find a 6th one. I was buying them when they were, I bought 1 or 2, and one was in that 3-pack, and then I got them on clearance. See, like a lot of these Trooper things, it's like if I find them for cheap or on clearance, that's when I'll buy them to get multiples. So don't think I'm spending $20 a pop here. I'm wheeling and dealing. But I never found another Death Trooper to have 6. Because you gotta have 6. He had 6 around him all the time. Chewbacca lost his leg and they're screaming about it. Of course, everyone should be screaming about it. It's a vintage Chewie with a broken leg. But we got a little Chewbacca shrine here. Lego Star Tots. Bunch of different action figures of various styles and types. The original Kenner stuffed animal Chewbacca's down here with a bunch of other stuffed animal Chewbaccas, and the original 12-inch with his bandolier strapping his weapon, and more modern ones. We got a cup cozy Chewbacca, we got a dog toy Chewbacca, we got all kinds of stuff. If it's not that much money and it's Chewbacca, I'll buy it. If it's an action figure of Chewbacca, I'll buy it. We got a proto, what's that? The Macquarie 3PO and R2 there. The Chewie mask has to fit in somewhere. That's what I mean. Lots of stuff is just thrown on the floor because I got to fit them in later. But I don't know where to put that Barbie Star Trek thing either. So that's just sitting here on the floor. We got the Ducktales stuff going on. These all ended up on clearance. And that's when I grabbed them all. I wanted them for the longest time, but luckily one day they appeared on clearance and I was able to buy the whole set for super cheap pennies. My Rebels shelf. I really liked Star Wars Rebels. I thought it was a great show. I really like it a lot. Can't wait to see what happens with Ezra and Ahsoka and Thrawn and all them after Rebels. It'll be really cool to find all that stuff out. Sabine, Hera. It was great. Rogue One with the U-Wing. And I know there's some solo guys thrown in here, but that's just because I don't have a place for solo 3.75 inch. So the couple guys I just have thrown in other things. I got some TIE fighters just hanging with fishing line. Stormtrooper shelf with the new modern vintage collection. A couple Stormtroopers fell over though. We'll get him out of here and fix that later. But it's underneath the giant Black Series TIE fighter. I just put all these Stormtroopers up because I needed to put them somewhere. And this seemed like a good enough spot. The Disney Elite Series 1, Black Series guys, 3.75-inch guys. Troopers of all eras and all builds, I guess you could say. Just kind of thrown in here. Got this weird one from Japan when I went to Japan in 2000. Was it 2006 or 2008? I think it was 2006 I went to Japan. And 2008 is when I went to Italy, if I remember right. I don't know. Something like that. But I got that little Japanese bear Stormtrooper. Now the Lego room, I got a lot of work to do in here. This is all messed up. But we got the parade going on here. I like to do funny things. So Robin is in the head of the parade with some ice cream and a boombox. And of course the Emperor is pretty pissed off that he's following Robin. Batman and the sombrero guy are playing music. They're playing the theme. Bam, 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 bam. Batman is sneaking into almost all the stuff here. You'll see him everywhere. He's a sneaky guy, and he sneaks his way into almost every single scene because he wants to be part of the action and the focus of attention. Up top inside the little Lego corner, we have all these. We got the shuttles, we got the Rebels walker, we got an AT-ST, we got the lightning ship from Ninjago, we got the dragon from Ninjago. We got all these boxed toys from the Force Awakens period. We've got a Jurassic Park minifigure display tube. The Sith Infiltrator with Maul. A Ninjago, that's the palace with the dragons, the gold dragon and stuff from the store display. And I've got the Apollo Saturn V rocket, which is cool, with a bunch of Lego promo stuff and small little baggy little things that have come out through the years underneath it. And then I got my Clone Wars. I got a bunch of Star Wars stuff on this next shelf. Clone Wars figures and little vehicle thing and some walkers and the micro ships and stuff and all the Jedi and clone troopers and various things. So trying to get the best lighting to combination here. Rebels, Rogue One, yeah, Rogue One stuff, yeah, Rebels. Daisy May. If you don't know what Daisy May is, then you gotta watch the animated Lego Star Wars stuff. It's on Disney Plus, and Daisy May is prominent, and Daisy May is awesome. That's why Admiral Akbar's standing there next to Daisy May. The Star Wars X-Wing store model display. And we got junk there. We got a pile of minifigures, because I gotta sort all this out. I told you it was a mess, and this is part of the mess. Look at my hand. Now that is a giant pile of minifigures, don't you think? There's a few hundred of them in that pile that I gotta put somewhere. And we got I was doing the Ninjago City. The whole building came out great. All the characters are on it. This whole area, I got Hoth troopers and stuff here that'll have to go somewhere else. But this whole area, including where the pile of minifigures are, is all going to be like a Ninjago City sort of thing when it's done. But it's not done yet, so you don't get to see it yet. And I got this test shot. So they make a prototype, they make a mold, and then they do test shots to make sure the mold works. And that's what this is. It's a test shot of the clone trooper. The clone officer that was used from 2003 to 2007, and they had various colored variations, yellow, green, red, and not. And they had a blue one. I need to get the blue one, and then I will have every variation they used that mold for. And I plan on putting those in a shadow box and framing it in a nice little setup to show prototype to retail versions of the figure. It's the only prototype, the only test shot that I own, so I kind of treasure it. It's kind of a neat thing. We got the Rebel base here with ships, and we got the guys hanging out in the Millennium Falcon with Batman slash Bruce Wayne sitting there with his martini watching them play. We got the the Rebel crew getting ready to take off from Return of the Jedi, and Superman is hanging out in that one. And we got the sequel trilogy, Force Awakens, basically. Hangar Bay going on here. Benny thinks he can help out from the Lego movie. And we got the Joker strolling on by with his big long tails from his jacket. And Batman, of course, is running after the Joker. We got the guys hanging out here. Poe, Rey, Finn, and BB-8 getting ready to take off. And then we're getting into the Mos Eisley Cantina one. And again, we're going to have some fun, because the cantina is always a great place to have some fun. Iron Man is hanging out, repairing his helmet and stuff. Watto's trying to sell the Jawas a Dalek, but it's not working. We got Shaggy and Scooby buying a giant sandwich, because what else would they be doing but getting a giant sandwich? E.T.'s back there with a flower. We got Snaggletooth, Chewbacca. Dr. Evanson's running away because Walrus Man got his arm chopped off by Obi-Wan. Luke's just got some blue milk and he's hanging out. And these two guys, the Duros and the space guy, what's his name? Yeah, him. They're just hanging out there going like, what happened? And of course you saw Batman back there with his lobster. Hope you saw that. He had a lobster. The Arrowhead with Quarry. Again, Iron Man, Tony Stark's here trying to fix his armor. The guys from Solo, Memphis Nest, and the one that Warwick Davis played in Lego form. I really liked Freemaker Adventures. I don't care what you think, but Freemaker Adventures was cool. If you haven't seen it, watch Lego Freemaker Adventures. It's on Disney+. I liked it. I thought it was great. And that's why I have a whole bunch of Lego related to them. Now we're getting into the Marvel figures. We got Snape, or no, Harry Potter fighting his arch rival back there in the middle of the battle. Yeah. And the dude from, the pirate dude from them, and even some Lord of the Rings guys are hanging out. They're like, yeah, we're going to join this battle because we're going to be the good guys and come in. We got the Guardians, we got the Avengers, we got all the Hulks, we got, Emmett's even here with the Hulk going, yeah, okay, I'll help you fight. And Ghost Rider and Wolverine, and you got Batman back there thinking he can be Wolverine with the claws. He's like, I'm just as good as Wolverine. I'm Batverine, And we got the Hulkbuster armor and Vision's over there, and we got the Guardians of the Galaxy ship. And then you come up and you got, Egghead and Lex Luthor and the Penguin, all in their mechs, are attacking the Batcave. And we got Brainiac and all these other guys and Mr. Freeze. Bizarro Batman and Bizarro Superman are going the wrong way, and they're fighting with ice cream instead of weapons. They don't know what's going on. But we got Catgirl, we got Flanders and Emmett running away because, Flanders doesn't want to be in the middle of this battle. He's like, ah. Finn and BB-8 are like, wait a minute, I think we walked into the wrong movie here. We're, we're not even in a Disney property anymore. What's going on? And then we got Batman in there, and he's got a wanted thing for the Joker. We got Commissioner Gordon back there. Nightwing, all these different Flash versions. The Wonder Twins. Bat suits of all kinds, Aquaman in them, Cyborg. And if you can, there's Batwoman. If you can see back there, you see Joker in the prison. That's why they're attacking, because they need to get that Joker. They need to get him freed. Back here, we got all the vehicles. Wonder Woman's in her invisible jet. We got the boat, we got the jet, we got the Bat space shuttle. And then we even have Victor Freeze's beautiful girlfriend trapped in ice back there. Because Batman's going to help him at some point, I don't know. The Ecto-1 with all the Ghostbusters. The Mystery Machine with Scooby-Doo and the gang. And we got a bunch of Scooby-Doo stuff. We got Emmett and everybody from the first Lego movie. The whole cast of the first Lego movie there. And with the couch, the double-decker couch, because that's cool. That about does it for the Lego room. Then we come back out and we got the 3.75-inch sequel trilogy hangar bay with all the ships and different characters running around. And again, yes, there will be some random guys that don't belong because they got to go somewhere, like the dogs and those guys from Solo movie. Yeah. And then we got this stuff up here. All this stuff is just randomly thrown up here. That back wall is going to have figures hanging from it who are carded. And this whole top area, all the way going back, will be all taken down and redone. Right now, it's just throw stuff up there that needed to have a space while I'm working on it. Krang! I love Krang. The only turtle stuff I have is all related to Krang. And I got some Predator. There's some Aliens things back there. E.T., Godzilla. Bunch of Transformers that need to go somewhere eventually. In these cabinets, we have my Centurion Collection. I loved the Centurions. Max Ray, Jake Rockwell, and Ace McCloud. They're all complete. Jake Rockwell only needs his shoulder missile. And then the orbital strike one, I need a helmet for him. And then we have Doc Terror, who needs his claw. We got some Sky Commander guys, whatever they are. Ooh, the Dungeons and Dragons dude fell down. The old dude from Dungeons and Dragons who fell down. He's not going to be able to... I can't do this one-handed. We'll just lay him down here. He's going to be like, oh, I'm laying down on the Mach 5. Micronaut I just got during this thing. I found him in an auction, pretty cheap. Some mask guys. Yeah. I like having the box for the Stinger. The Stinger is an awesome mask vehicle. Need the little bomb that comes out the windshield, though, for him. That little windshield bomb there. That's the only thing I need to make that complete. Got the Jackhammer and the Switchblade. Air Raiders. Got some figures in a package back there. Got the Hawkwind and the Cloud Rider, whatever that is thing. The Hawkwind is one of the greatest plane starship vehicles to ever be made. The Hawkwind is so cool. I love this thing. I can't believe more people don't know about it. That is one of the coolest. The Air Raiders are cool. A Vertec fighter from Matchbox, from Robotech. I just got this figure, and he is the pilot of this particular vehicle. Although it should have blue stripes, but it does not. I don't know why it's got black, but to be his vehicle, it should have had blue stripes. But like you saw, I still have to set that display up. I just kind of threw it in there. That's where it's going to end up being once I set it all up. Black Star. I love having Black Star with Warlock, and he is now complete. I picked up the last pieces I needed for him during this quarantine. The Palace Guard. Gurr is sitting there just because he is. Some Battle Beasts are hanging out here. We got Overlord with his sword. We got all these other bad guy ones. The Vizier with his packaging. And we have the X-Wing with the guys from Empire Strikes Back hanging around here. Some bounty hunters back there waiting to pick them up. Stargate. Just a couple figures with a couple muscle men hanging out there. $6 Million Man with the box Really cool. I love having $6 Million Man, and he's in great condition. We have a guy from Buck Rogers. We got some Battlestar Galactica guys here. That's Buck Rogers. These are Battlestar Galactica Cylons. A Billy Mickey Mouse Club Weeble Wobble. A Smurf hanging out. Pirate Smurf. And we got all these, Battlestar Galactica stuff. I need a little driver for that Cylon ship. Flash Gordon. The Lizard Woman was my favorite when I was a kid, so that's why I have her packaged. And she's in the cantina that you saw earlier. We got another Robotech bad guy stuff going on here. The Battle Pod with the box, and we got all the bad guys. They'll eventually get set up. I gotta get some stands and get them set up there. And then we get to the Yoda Cabinet. We've come all the way around. We're full circle. We're almost done. Yeah, we've been into this for an hour. If you want a tour, you're gonna be here forever. But all this stuff is just thrown up here because I've got too much Yoda stuff to fit in this cabinet. And eventually my plan is to hang this sign over it up there. And then redo the top so it's all Yoda stuff on top. As you can see, I hung the mask up there, but I'm going to put different things. And then rearrange the whole cabinet. So basically everything is eventually going to have to come out of here and be redone, you know. So, and because like this guy can actually fit on top, so he might as well go up there and make more room for stuff that needs to be in the cabinet in here. A couple of these stuffed animal guys can actually fit on top, you know. So it's like things that aren't as precious will be on top, and then more precious items will be in here. Like I got all these action figures. There's almost every version of Yoda action figure, like the 3.75 inch scale. Like there he is on the Kadu. Like there's almost every version ever made in here. Even some that are like re-releases that have just had paint touch-ups and repaint differences. You know, so it's like you'll see some things that appear to be duplicates, but they're slightly different colors. The Funko Pops, greeting cards, the original 32 back Yoda, that the first card he came out on, or was it 31 back? Something like that. It's the original, the very first card Yoda came out on in Kenner. The puppet, we got the puppet here. Yes, I am the vintage puppet, yes. Gumball machines, we got food dispensers, we got game token things, we got cars, we got battery rechargers. That's for your phone. We got gummies. It's a pack of gummy. We got all the celebration badges through the years that Yoda appeared on. They're tucked away in here. Pez dispensers, mugs, drinking glasses, the mugs full of candies, little hats, the robot action figure, stuffed animals, keychains, the gold plated keychain, that's special. Sippy cups, we got a sippy cup, we got cookie jar, ornaments, bath soap. This one was an animatronic one you talk to. The glass, the pops, the Christmas ornament lights, more soap bubbles, little action figures, pop, Funko, bath, shampoo, bobblehead candy dispenser, tissue paper for blowing your nose, you know. A wood sculpt that my friend Sarah made me. More Hot Wheel, like Yoda Hot Wheel stuff, ornaments and things. And then this other painting that my friend's wife painted for me when I was moving from Seattle to Florida. All these different stuffed animal things and chew toys. There's a football, a Yoda football. Who would have thought? But when I saw it, I had to have it. And then we got, like I said, I got piles of stuff just left here on the ground. This is why I'm not done, because things just get set here. There's a Yoda bag, and then we got this beanbag Jawa. I love the beanbag Jawa. I think he's so cool. A Yoda chew toy for a dog. All this stuff that just recently came in is just piled up here. And there's another Yoda, an Easter Yoda there. It's got to go in there. And we're back at the, here. So that's it. We have come full circle. We have made it to the end of the room tour. Whew, that was long. My arm's getting tired from hanging onto this camera. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Thanks a lot. This is exclusive to Patreon members. And sorry about the mess. You know, there's the parts that are still being worked on. So the rest of the folks out there in YouTube world, they probably won't get this room tour until it's pretty much done. That whole one section, the last part you saw where that whole top area had to be redone, the Yoda cabinet, like all this stuff, you know, I don't really want to put out a public room tour until that's all done. I gotta have it perfect, or else I'll, you know, I kind of just anyway, all right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for being Patreon members, and yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye bye.